Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
It's raining.
Yay!
Yay! We need the rain and wash my car that made it dirty first, and now it hopefully won't be so dirty. My name is Leslie Berger, co-president of the temple with David Youngman, who's here running the streaming service here. As you all know, today was Denine's last day, sad face, and will be missed, but she has a great opportunity in the field that she loves. But don't fret. The board has stepped up and will cover all of Dee's duties until we find a replacement. All phone messages and emails will be picked up and answered. And also, did you make your RSVPs reservations for this Sunday's breakfast? Yes. And if you didn't see Donna, and Sleek Coat has to be RSVP by September 9th for you order your sandwiches, which is tonight. And Tashlik, which is next Saturday, September 16th. I'd like to thank you, Rabbi Mark, Cantor Stacey, and Dr. Ray providing the music, and thanks to the ushers, Sergio Sanchez Guzman and Joe Gorin. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. It is a pleasure to be back. Had a wonderful opportunity to relax last Friday for a bit, so it's been a refreshing opportunity. And with the rain, we have a chance to settle the dust of the week and all the wind that blew through in front of the rain. My goodness, I felt like I was not in Kansas. And of course I wasn't. For those of you joining us from home, now would be a great time to make sure you have set aside some challah, maybe even some candles, a bissela of Kiddush wine or your other favorite Shabbat beverage. When we have a chance to do our Kiddush, we can join together here and in our virtual space as well. We have Shabbat greetings from Rita and Bob Rubin and the Magnella family. Thank you both very, very much. The Magnella family is here. Eileen, thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for your support. And I wish to note that Rita is a board member of our congregation. And surprise, on Sunday, we are going to welcome Brandy Strings as she has completed her journey to Judaism this Sunday. A wonderful opportunity for us. A special Shabbat shout out from all of your Chit Chat friends. They wanted to make sure that you that you were welcomed appropriately, and we are grateful for their support. Let's take this opportunity to transition into our Shabbat. We've had some interesting weather this past week. We've had some hot times. We've had some challenging changes here at our temple. It's been a rather hectic time, at a time when we were not expecting such hectic activities. And so it's appropriate to take a little rest, take a little pause, maybe even take a deep breath, Driving on wet roads can be a bit nerve-wracking here in sunny Southern California where it doesn't rain that much. Grateful for this rain. Did you notice the smell? Love the smell of rain in the arid areas. It just makes everything pop a bit more. Except I'll have to wash my car again because all of the dust that was in the air is now resting on all of our vehicles. But with that cleansing rain, we can likewise welcome Shabbat as a bit of a cleansing rain in our lives. We are here together as one people, one community. We've joined to share in this treasured moment together, both here physically and through our YouTube channel in each of our homes. As we transition from the hectic demands of life and of daily routines, we are invited and encouraged to leave the week behind. Let us let go of what has been, let go of what will be, and enter a place of stillness, a sacred space and a sacred time. We breathe in the calm of evening, and we pause. We breathe out the stresses of the week. We breathe in the calm of nightfall, and on this night, some rain. And we pause, and we breathe out and feel a sense of release. We breathe in the radiance of the moon and the stars, and we pause. We breathe out all thoughts of doing and become one with this present moment. Let us feel the warmth of relaxation wash over us all. We breathe in the radiant light, and we pause and feel our minds becoming open and unfettered. We breathe out and feel our soul becoming freed to soar to new heights. We breathe in the calmness, and we pause. We feel ourselves surrender. We breathe out everything and focus only on the now. And feel your body and your mind and your soul becoming whole and at peace. Now we are finally ready to graciously accept this present from our loving Creator, to embrace God's gift of rest and rejuvenation, to turn our complete attention towards Shabbat, to savor all that Shabbat provides and become enveloped by holiness. As we breathe in and out once more, we pause and welcome in Shabbat. And on this Shabbat, we welcome it with the singing of Lecha Dodi, a short melody, but it speaks volumes. It speaks of Shabbat as a presence, as a person that we would like to welcome, a dear friend who has come to visit us once again. After an absence, our heart has felt the loss of Shabbat. And now with Shabbat here, we welcome her with Lecha Dodi. I invite Joe and Sharon Gorin to come forward and to lead us in the blessing over our Shabbat candles. We welcome the light and the warmth of this Shabbat and the cooler temperatures that will be arriving this very evening. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Source of all goodness, as we... Okay.
Here, come, stand here. Come on, guys, lighten up.
We would, but we're
Okay.
busy.
Okay.
Source of all goodness, as we join in Shabbat worship, we ask your blessings. Grant us health enough to perform our daily tasks, wealth enough to answer our needs, compassion enough to feel the needs of others. Give us strength enough to recognize our faults, wisdom enough to understand your laws, loyalty enough to discharge our duties. Give us courage enough to be true to the best within us, charity enough to see the best in others. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears of the future, and faith enough to feel your presence. And let us say, Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו להדליק נר של שבת.
Sorry, we got to do it this way.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot, and inspires us to kindle these lights of Shabbat.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Prayer is not purely an act. All things pray. All things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays, every creature and every living thing. Creation is itself but a longing, a kind of prayer to the Almighty. What are the clouds, the rising and the setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon, and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the wordless outpouring of boundless longing for God. I invite us to rise as we are able, as we continue with our Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitfona mashane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimlo chalenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. It is evening, and children slowly dream away the storms of day. It is evening, and stars glow gently in the quiet heavens. Can we understand a dream? Find a net to capture the meaning of a glowing star? What bridge spans the vast space we must cross to reach understanding? And how small are we who attempt the journey? And yet, somehow, we learn to find our glory in a brave and endless struggle to comprehend eternal mysteries. We are voyagers in an infinite sea. Our destination always beyond the horizon. But we are voyagers. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. I am whole, and I am healing. I am part of all that is. When my heart is truly open, love and light flow through me.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We may be seated.
Elohech bechol bechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha v'shinan והיו לטוטפות על מזוזות ביתך ובישרת ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Sometimes things don't go, after all, from bad to worse. Some years, muscatel faces down the frost. Green thrives, the crops don't fail. Sometimes a person aims high and all goes well. A people sometimes will step back from war, elect an honest person, decide they care enough that they can't leave some stranger poor. Some people become what they were born for. Sometimes our best efforts do not go amiss. Sometimes we do as we meant to. The sun will sometimes melt a field of sorrow that seemed hard frozen. May it happen for you.
Hey Ray, you gotta be louder for this one.
The world has our hands, but our souls belong to someone else. To set apart a day a week, a day on which we would not use the instruments so easily turned into weapons of destruction, a day of being with ourselves, a day on which we stop the idols of technical civilization, a day on which we would use no money, a day of armistice in the economic struggle with our neighbors and with the forces of nature. Is there any institution that holds out a greater hope for human progress than the Sabbath?
B'nai Yisrael et Hashabbat la'asod et Hashabbat ledoratam berit olam v'shameru b'nai Yisrael et Hashabbat la'asod et Hashabbat ledoratam berit olam. Hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat la'asot et Hashabbat ledoratam berit olam u'vayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shameru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat la'asod et Hashabbat ledoratam berit olam.
Our fathers and our mothers prayed, each through their own experience of God, each through their own visions, which we have come to share. Abraham, with the fervor of justice, pleaded the cause of cities. Sarah, in the pain of waiting, dared to hope for new life. Isaac, meditating alone in the field, lifted his eyes to find love. Rebekah asked for the ability to discern God's call. Jacob climbed the rungs of his night into heaven seeking destiny. Leah dreamed of love, and Rachel sought harmony. We, as they, seek God's presence. I invite us to rise as we are able, as we continue with the words of our tefillah.
Tiftach ufi agit gilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני ולכם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיים הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לך חיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. הקדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יחללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We may be seated. From the cowardice that shrinks from new truth, from the laziness that is content with half-truths, from the arrogance that thinks it knows all truth, O God of truth, deliver us. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otacha levadacha, b'yirah na'avod. Just as the hand held before the eye can hide the tallest of mountains, so the routine of every day can keep us from seeing the vast radiance and the secret wonders that fill this world. Baruch atah Adonai, varech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Al Yisrael amecha tastiv leolam shalom rav. Al Yisrael amecha tastiv leolam ki ata
We extend our prayers of peace to all, and especially those whose very sense of peace has been disturbed, perhaps even shattered by the challenges that they are facing. The words of our Mishe Berach give us the opportunity to express our hope that all those who are facing such challenges might find their way to health to wholeness and to peace again. And I invite you during the musical interlude between the paragraphs to share aloud the name of a loved one. Thus we might bring them here into this space, into our hearts at this time. May all who are facing just such challenges to their shalom, to their wholeness, to their health, their well-being, their bodies and their minds. May they be blessed on their journey, a journey that will hopefully bring them to a refuah shlema, a return to the wholeness they seek, the shalom that they desire. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hacholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let's say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
On Shabbat, we have the ability to transcend time and even space. Some of the prayers that we share are prayers that originated over 2,000 years ago, some of them 3,000 years ago. We join with Jews across this planet on this Shabbat, and therefore have the opportunity to transcend the distance we feel from them and from the community. And so ever cognizant of the chain, literally the chain of tradition in which we find ourselves, let us invoke our ancestors, both the spiritual and the genetic, for we are the sole reason for their existence. And then let us invoke the children and their children, for they are the sole reason for our existence. Let us invoke the mountains and the rivers and this great planet Earth and acknowledge our intimacy and indeed our codependency with all things sentient and insentient. Let us reflect. Let us reflect that the gift of life is more fragile than the dewdrops on the tips of the morning grasses. And then let us vow. Let us vow and promise to heal and to nourish. Let us vow to love and to share. Let us vow to alleviate suffering and bondage, and let us vow to manifest peace and joy with wisdom and with compassion. We pause for a moment of silent prayer, or such other words as our hearts may prompt. Cantor Stacey, thank you so much, as always, for the music, especially our jazzy Micha Mocha. And it's good to welcome your both arms.
Thank you.
So next week we will do the chicken dance.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Dr. Ray, as always, thank you for your hard work on the Clavinova, keeping pace with us and keeping things musically enriched for us. Thank you. To David and to Chris, thank you very much for helping to stream our services and keep things flowing into the ether sphere. And for those of you joining us at home, thank you for tuning in for a little while here to Temple Beth Or in La Mirada. So this is the month that rabbis really begin to dread. It is the month of Elul, which is the last month on the counting of our calendars. The next month that hits us is the month that I like to refer to as tumultuous Tishrei. I truly do love so much about Judaism. The philosophy, the spirituality, the mysticism, the values, the history, the richness of our holidays. But whoever designed the Jewish calendar and packed 5 incredibly major holidays in a 25-day period, they had lost their minds on that one. We have Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, which has a holiday at the beginning and a holiday at the end. And it also has Shmini Atzeret after that, and Simchat Torah. 5 major holidays in a 25-day period. And it's not spaced out evenly. You know, it's on the first day, and then the 10th day, and then the 15th day. Anyway, we call it tumultuous Tishrei. The rabbis of the Talmud actually thought of a Elul as a whole preparatory period leading up to the month of Tishrei. It's kind of like the final exam is coming. And don't wait till Tishrei 1, Erev Rosh Hashanah, to begin studying. Start on Elul 1. We're now at Elul 9, I think it was. Or no, this is the 9th of September. So we're on Elul something else. It's close. Let's take a look. It is the 14th of Elul. I know. Why does it say Av? Well, you know, we missed that one in our slide preparations. It begins with an A, and so there it is. But it is Elul. And Elul is spelled in Hebrew, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. In English, it's E-L-U-L. It doesn't work as well because in Hebrew, the month itself, the name Elul becomes a representative, an acronym, if you will, of a biblical phrase. A biblical phrase that our rabbis love to find in Song of Songs, one that is used at weddings, one that's adorned on ketubot, one that is sometimes even part of the wedding rings themselves. Ani ledodi v'dodi li. I am my beloved, I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. It speaks about that partnership necessary in a marriage relationship. It also speaks about the partnership necessary in any relationship, with friends, with family, with employers, with employees, with everything. There is a partnership involved. The rabbis understand that this month, being this preparatory month, would hope that we would spend that time meditating and praying and reflecting. In some congregations, they even start sounding the shofar on Elul 1. There's a silly midrash that they do that to confuse Satan, so that hearing the shofar, Satan will say, "What? Oh, Rosh Hashanah's already started? Ah, man, I missed my chance to to lead some people astray, to distract some people, to, throw some stumbling blocks before them. Missed it. But then the next day the shofar sounds again. Wait, what? It's not? And so anyway, a little superstition that we can accept from our rabbis. Another more spiritually sane reason is this whole idea of taking this time to do some preparation. Taking this month to prepare for the big sounding of the shofar that we will hear on Rosh Hashanah. For me, the sound of the shofar is so special. I can only hear it on Rosh Hashanah. We do it a couple of other times. I have done it on other occasions. The Lamarada Mayor's prayer breakfast, because it's a sound that most Christians don't hear, and so they're always very intrigued. And so we actually start the breakfast with the sound of the shofar. It's a neat thing. And so do it at special occasions, but to do it for the whole month leading up to, for me, detracts from the sound of hearing it on Rosh Hashanah. But I think the rabbis do have a wise understanding of truly the significance of the holidays with their playing with the name of this month, Elul. Our tradition teaches us that in so many different ways, the emphasis on our living is in this world right now and is between the people we encounter. We read on Yom Kippur that transgressions between an individual and God, Yom Kippur itself takes care of. If we are sincere in our regrets and apologies to the Creator about whatever we have done against the Creator, then Yom Kippur takes care of it. However, transgressions between individuals, Yom Kippur does not do anything for until they have sought out each other and made peace with one another. That phrase right there teaches us the importance of our relationships. And spending this month of Elul in preparation for Rosh Hashanah, given the phrase Ani ledodi v'dodi li, which, by the way, our rabbis understand is not only being between husband and wife or spouses, but also between the individual and God, reminds us of the importance of taking a look at our relationships during this month. Our relationships with each other, our spouses, our partners, our friends, our family members, our relationships with our tradition, with God, and to take a look at those relationships and understand the ones that we might need to spend a little more time working on. Those relationships with which we have perhaps taken for granted, overlooked. Perhaps we became angered, impatient. These relationships that are truly what we human beings are all about. Rosh Hashanah is coming, and it will be here. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. And so the best thing we can do is to prepare to take advantage of this holiday and these 5 holidays and what they can mean for us. Rosh Hashanah is a chance for us to ask the big question of ourselves. We are another year older. Are we another year wiser? Or are we still doing the same thing we've been trying to do in the past? Yom Kippur, by the way, is not the Day of Atonement. It is a Day of Atonement. Every day is a Yom Kippur opportunity. But if we haven't done it yet, then Yom Kippur should be the day upon which we should be doing it. restoring our relationships. After all, atonement is spelled at one mint. About our relationship, putting them back together again. Sukkot reminds us of our connection to this planet. And things are going a little crazy around us. It reminds us of the importance that we are not masters of this planet, we are simply residents, and the importance of taking care of it. And Simchat Torah reminds us the importance of learning, of wrestling, of struggling. That is how we become. And so Elul, Ani Ledodi, Ledodi Li. We are engaged in relationships. We live in relationship. Let us find ways to repair those relationships that have been strained. Let us find ways to bring some healing, some atonement, some at-one-ment for ourselves and for those who matter to us most in our lives, and perhaps even the strangers that we pass on the street. May these coming Yamim Noraim, days of awe, may this coming high holiday season and this new year, 5,783, be a year filled with all that is good and sweet in life. And may we embrace these holidays with joy, with happiness, and in relationship to community. Shabbat Shalom. We move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of our adoration. I know, the words are at the bottom of the slide. If we had a different system, we could have slides here and different slides for our viewing audience. You may have to twist your head, move a little bit. The words will be on the screen in front of you. I invite us to rise as we are able for the words of our Aleinu, the adoration. We read together. Let us now praise the source of the universe and proclaim the greatness of the Creator, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Therefore we bow in awe and thanksgiving before the one who is the source of everything, the Holy and the Blessed One.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth. those who live on in our hearts and our memories, and in a place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim, the 7 and 30 days since their death. Arthur Krieger, husband of Irene Krieger, Joel Lowenstein, the husband of Devorah Lowenstein, and Mary Lewis, family friend of Leslie Berger. And Leslie and Devorah, and to the Krieger family, our hearts go out to you in the immediacy of these deaths of family members and friends. To their names, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits have occurred during this past week. Helen Ziskin Goldberg, Rabbi David Jacobs, Raphael Ursus, Albert Cohen, Herman Gordon, Florence Avedon, David Marcus, Bessie Richmond, Philip S. Ganson, Arthur Abraham Goldschmidt, Aaron Lippy, Bertha Fagan, Molly Horwitz, Herman Marks, Lou Dunst, Bertha Kaplan, Susan F.M. Klein, Sadie Schindel, Elise Rosenberg, Elvira Amirez, Martin Harold Middleton, Henrietta Sanders Miller, Thelma Zepper, Alfred Sacker, Mac Cohen, Lawrence S. Held, and Sarah Sherman. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period. Molly Shartoff, Erica Cherie Barnes, Kaylee Goldstein, Craig Wilford, Fred Fink, Joyce Ulibari, Ralph Goldstein, Marvin Asnes, Norma Lippy, Claire Phillips, David Kaplan, Helene Lieberman, Laura Cutler, Marty Hershkowitz, Dottie Roth, Gerald Kramer, Mark Lightman, Stephen Z. Levoot, Harleen Brow, Tim Manriquez, Lenny Lightman, Lorraine Stein, Harry Fox, and Ed Ginter. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud, to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the name and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, and the members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. Zichronam levracha, as we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemer Rabbah, B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemer Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, Shemei d'kudesha b'richu, Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush b'chata v'nechamata, Da'amiram be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's eternal presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, above all a source of shalom, of peace, and let us all say Amen. We may be seated. Cantor and I will share our Kiddush here, toasting the joys of this Shabbat, our ability to come together, our ability to join on our YouTube channel. Following that, we'll have a chance to share in a closing song, and then a bissel of challah. As you enter into the social hall, please, there is juice and wine waiting for you. Please take a glass as is your preference, and some challah, and of course, some desserts during the oneg. With that, we toast the joy of Shabbat, the passage of time and the approaching of a whole new year. Such joyous things await for us in the month of Tishrei. We will toast those prematurely and preemptively with the words of our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ורצבנו, בת קודשו, באהבה וברצון, הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית. כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. קיוונו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim.
L'chaim, Rabbi.
And as we have talked about Elul and the coming year, we conclude with a song about the coming year, Bashana Haba'ah. I invite us to rise as we are able. If you are comfortable with putting your arm around the shoulder of someone next to you or holding the hand of someone who might need to remain seated, feel free to do so as we conclude with a song and a hope for this coming year. Bashana Haba'ah.
בשנה הבאה נשב על מרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים וחופשה ישחקו תופסת הבית בין השדות. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. או תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Soon the day will arrive when we will be together and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day new dark clouds will appear. What I say, wait and see what a world this can be if we care, if we share, you and me. Bashana Abba.
And wait for it, we will join in a quick motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Now we say it. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.